Company. We're on the air, starring Bob Hope. Joining Bob on today's program are Red Skelton, Jack Benny, and Jimmy Durante with yours truly, Chuck Carson. This program is being rebroadcast over the Armed Forces Radio Network. Right now, let's pause for the cause.
Billy Brown, the smoothest, coolest guy in town. The jigsaw seems to dig his jive. Hey, tell us, Bill, how can we arrive? It's easy, Jack. Any gal gets set when you flash a smile by Pepsodent. You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Now the star of our show, the man with the Pepsodent smile and the laugh out loud nose, Bob Hope.
Yes, it's real nice to be here broadcasting from Selma, California. You know, the reason I'm here, a few months ago I got a call from Nicole, your manager of the theater, and says, is this Bob Hope? I said, yes it is. She said, well, Mr. Hope, you still believe in free speech? I said, you bet I do. She said, would you please come up to Selma and give us one? Yes, so here I am. It's real nice to be here. Again with my old friend Chuck Carson here, my announcer. You know, it wasn't too long though, before Nicole had called, that I'd had a call from the manager of the USO that handles the overseas shows. He said, Bob, you know, it's been a long time since you did a USO show. We'd like you to come back out and do a few of those. I said, oh, I don't know about that. It's been a long time. They said, well, if we can take old ships and planes out of mothballs, why not you? But anyway, I'd imagine we probably have a few golfers here in the audience. This is a special club that I have with me. This was given to me in parts by people that I've performed for all over the world. This is Copo Tiki Wood from Brazil, the head of the driver. That was given to me by the Psychiatric Association down there. They were nuts about me. And then I went to Australia and I had to do 30 days for the Law Enforcement Association, and they gave me the kangaroo leather for the grip. Then I came back to the States and I went to Washington, D.C., and I did several shows for Congress, and they gave me the shaft. Yes, sir. Now east is east and west is west, and the wrong one I have chose. Let's go where they keep on wearing those frills and flowers and buttons and bows, rings and things and buttons and bows, buttons and bows. Yes, now, well, I'll be back in a little bit, but right now, folks, I've got to go powder my nose.
That's going to take a lot of powder. Okay, right now it's time for a message for all you smokers out there.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
Oh, thank you very much. It's so nice to be here. Oh, it's really nice to be here. You know, I flew in from Los Angeles on that new senior citizens airline. Well, have you heard of it? Yeah, their motto is, you watched us drive, now watch us fly. But, you know, it was real nice. I was sitting there in first class, and there was this fella, you know, they give you free drinks, you know, in first class. And this one fella, he took his first 2 free drinks, and he downed them right away. And then he said to the flight attendant, he says, hey, if I want another one of these, what do I have to do? She said, see that little button overhead? Well, just push that, you know. A few minutes later, we got up in the air, and they said we could take our seatbelts off. So he stands up with his cup, and he's pushing on it. Well, thank you so very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know, my purpose in life as a clown is to bring joy to people's hearts and a smile to their lips. And in the next few weeks or so, should you be feeling sad or low, you think of something I said tonight that brings joy to your heart and a smile back to your lips, then my purpose in life as a clown will have been fulfilled. So thank you very much. Good night. May God bless.
facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Network. We now pause for station identification. This is the National Broadcasting Company. Next up, a visit with America's favorite cheapskate. But first, a few words about shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you Kay Daumit's magic formula blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Gives loveliness lather even in hardest water. Glamorizes your hair as you wash it. Luster Cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Gives new beauty to all hairdos or permanents. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo and be a dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a Luster Cream shampoo.
We take you now to Union Station, Los Angeles.
Right now leaving on track 9 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
Well, gee, it's wonderful to be here in Selma. You know, I didn't think I was going to make it because when I went down to the airport in Los Angeles, they pulled me aside and they said, "All right, fella, what's in that case?" And I opened it up and I said, "Look, it's only my violin, and you know you can't hurt anybody with a violin." And that smart Alex said, "I don't know, Mr. Benny, I've heard you play." Right now, I'd like to play my theme song, Love in Blue. Gee, that'd make a gypsy cry. When you're hot, you're hot. Charlie Daniels, eat your heart out. Big ending. Thank you very much. We're a little late, folks.
No other leading cigarette is safer to smoke because no other gives you less nicotine, less throat-irritating tars than the new, smoother, better-tasting Lucky. Yes, exhaustive scientific test of America's biggest selling brand, certified by 14 distinguished doctors, including eminent throat specialists, have just proved conclusively no other leading cigarette gives you less nicotine, less throat-irritating tars. So no other is actually safer to smoke. See, if you don't agree, Lucky Strikes are right. Right for taste, right for throat. Enjoy Lucky's rich tobacco. The milder, smoother, more satisfying Lucky Strike. Medical science now offers you proof positive no other cigarette is safer to smoke because No other gives you less nicotine, less throat-irritating tars than the new, better-tasting Lucky Strike. Remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Oh yeah, sold American. I think I hurt myself. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes, the man with a nose wrapped around it, Jimmy Durante.
Now once upon a time they played the rodeo dope, but that was long ago. Then everybody started in the poop-poopy-doo, but they got tired of that, you know. How about them musicians? Everybody's putting in extra notes. Durante will ignore it. But the tune for you and me is that swinging symphony. A-dink-a-dink, a-dink-a-doo, a-dink-a-doo. Oh, what a tune for crooning. Oh, you know, I was out in Hollywood the other day. That's right, and I'm driving my new sports cart down Hollywood Boulevard. I'm driving along and all of a sudden the car in front of me stopped dead still. I hit my brakes, but it was a little bit slippery. I slid up and just barely lightly tapped the back bumper of that car. When the door popped open, a little guy about this tall jumped out. He came running back shaking his fist. He said, "Hey, mister, I want you to know one thing. I'm not happy." So I just looked at him for a minute and I said, "Okay, I give up. Which one are you?" You gotta start off each day with the song.
Mary had a little lamb, surprised the entire operating room.
Even when things go wrong.
Hickory dickory dock, 3 mice ran up the clock. That clock struck 1, the other 2 got clean away.
You'll feel better, you'll even look better.
Hey Jimmy, have you always wanted to play the piano?
To tell you something, Carson, ever since I was a little kid, I always told my dad I want to learn to play the piano in the worst way.
You got your wish.
Now there's a guy going into business for himself. Good night, good night, good night. It's time to say good night. Good night. Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Jimmy Durante, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Gooby, is your stomach feeling bad? What you may need for poor indigestion is something that works after nature's own order. Try Carter's Little Liver Pills. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed. Get them at any drugstore, only 25 cents. My pleasure now to introduce the winner of our Write Your Own commercial, Mr. Clyde Coleman. Hey there. My wife took Carter's Little Liver Pills for 77 years. When she died, we had to beat her liver to death with a stick. Well, following tonight's program, Bob and I will be on our way to entertain our G.I. Janes and G.I. Joes in the North Pacific, joining Francis Langford, the Les Brown Band of Renown, and funny man Jerry Colon. But once again, the star of our show, Bob Hope.
Yes, well, thank you very much, folks. Have you enjoyed the visits from my friends out there tonight? Yeah, it's kind of like a family reunion with Red and Jimmy and Jack. But a lot of people have been asking me how I really got started with the USO. And back in 1941, I did my first show for the military. That was down at March Field down in Riverside, California. We had 2,000 guys learning to be flyers, and they were the best audience I'd ever had. So I went back to Hollywood and talked to the producers of the Pepsi show, and I said, let's start broadcasting from a different base every week.
Maestro. The movie The Big Broadcast of 1938 is where I got this theme song, and I sang it with Miss Shirley Ross. Thanks for the memory, for candlelight and wine, and castles on the Rhine, the Parthenon and moments on the Hudson River line. I thank you so much. Yes, thanks for the memory, for sunburns on the shore and nights in Singapore. All those road pictures with Bing and Dorothy Lamour. I thank you so much. Many's the time that we feasted, and many's the time that we fasted. Gee, it was swell while it lasted. Hey, we sure had fun, didn't we? No harm done. Well, thanks for the memory, and strictly untrue. Darling, how are you? How are all the little dreams that never did come true? Awfully glad I met you, cheerio and two, and thank you. Yes, I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless our troops and God bless America. Thank you.